Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Grand Teton herd. This year was a very big year, so strap in. Also, I messed up something with the years, so all the ages in this video are different, but they are now the canon ages of the horses, so don't ask. First, we are starting with Swift, our new lead stallion. Before the spring, the winter was incredibly hard on the herd. They had several injured horses, and elderly Dynasty was slowing them down. They were unable to reach the winter grazing grounds on time and ended up with very little food over the brutal months. Most of the herd was starving, and Swift seized his opportunity. He knew he wouldn't be strong enough to take on Artax while the other stud was at full strength, but while he was starving to death? Swift easily defeated Artax at half strength and has seized control of the herd. He's a much less boastful and cocky leader and seems to be doing pretty good for the herd so far. We've got a lot of new faces, so I think that's a good sign. Also this year, I decided to put in some pictures of the in-game sprites of each of the horses. So this is Swift, what he looks like in the game. And some of them are very similar to their cat counterparts and some are not quite close at all. But I'll try to explain why I made the decisions of their designs when we get to them. But Swift is a gray stallion and he has fully grayed out at this point. He is pretty much totally white. So he is absolutely gorgeous and I think he's gonna make a good leader. Next is our newest lead mare, Eve. We will get to Takoda and why she's not the leader in a bit. Swift chose Eve to be the next lead mare because there was nobody else that could really suit the role. At the time, we had no other mares in the herd, so it was really only Eve. Eve still isn't sure she likes being in charge and having so much responsibility. She enjoys the role of being a member, but Swift trusts her to make decent decisions regarding the herd. In fact, they trust each other so much that love has blossomed. Mates aren't really a thing in the horse world, but Eve and Swift are as close to mates as we could get. They respect and trust each other deeply, and have actually had a daughter together named Moon. This little filly is a bay now, but she will actually gray out just like her father did. She's a silly little filly who is incredibly smart and witty, and she loves listening to stories from the older yearlings and can't wait to grow up. I decided to allow her to inherit the gray gene because her cat sprite is fully gray, and so I figured it would be nice if she would gray out in her older years. Now we have Takoda and Dynasty. Unfortunately, Takoda did not make it after the brutal winter this year. There was absolutely no food, and her sacrificial nature did her in. She allowed everyone to eat first and died because of it. I'm really sad to lose her before she could help Artax become a better stallion. I think she was good for him. Dynasty, on the other hand, died of old age. Boy, was she old at 27 years old. She got to live to see her son become leader of the herd and saw that Eve was pregnant with her grand foal. Dynasty died happy and fulfilled. I also decided to go for headshots for the horses that have died. It's a little bit easier than a full body and I'm able to get it done a lot quicker. So if there are a lot of horses that have died in 1 year, I can just do headshots and still get the video out in a relatively short amount of time. This year, Ophelia broke her tradition and didn't have another foal. She now has Sunny and Hestia in the herd and has actually been devoting a lot of time to her son. Sunny last year got a seriously injured leg from a rogue stallion, and that leg has never truly healed. He actually struggles just to walk. Ophelia has taken it upon herself to try as many different herbs as she can to assist him. Maybe mint or lavender or sage will help him feel better. She's trying everything and often gives Sunny a bellyache. He's grateful that his mother is trying so hard for him though. He had ambitions to becoming the lead stallion one day, but with his leg so permanently messed up, He's all but given up on that dream. He only wants to run without pain now. Ophelia, I'm not sure, is interested in having any more foals anytime soon. She's one of the older mares in the herd, but now that their ages are a little bit different, she's actually not that old. She could definitely have many more foals if she so desired, but we'll just have to wait and see. She doesn't like Artax, and I'm not sure that she really likes Swift all that much, so to have another foal, she would have to find a stallion outside of the herd, for sure. Next are Hestia and Dew. Hestia is of course Ophelia's most recent filly, and is now a strong 2-year-old yearling. She is fierce and watchful. I think she could make a very good lead mare one day with her powerful presence and skills. Climbing, running, and scenting predators are just a few of her many skills. She is quite the firecracker, and I really love her. Dew is Eve's second filly and is also doing very well this year. She's about the same age as Hestia, off just by a couple of months. She is good friends with Hestia, but she is a little bit more reserved than her fiery counterpart. She is still outgoing and thoughtful though, and she really loves telling stories. She may be quiet, but she is absolutely shameless about herself, and she is 100% herself all the time, and I just love that about her. I think she's so wonderful. You may notice that the cat sprites for these two are maybe a little bit off, especially Hestia. My choices were either make another gray horse or a black horse or a blue roan for Hestia, but I just thought that a red roan really suited her personality and she would really stick out in the herd, you know? I like to try to make them as different as I possibly can, just so that we can have very obviously different coat colors and patterns to really spice things up. Now we have two new faces in the herd. This is Tulip and Apollo. They're not a couple, just good friends, but they do kind of look like a couple in this pose. If you guys saw on my community tab not too long ago, Tulip is the cat that I showed you guys that I desperately needed help choosing the right coat color and pattern for. I ended up going with a champagne brindle, and I tried my best with the brindle. You guys will have to let me know how I did, but I think she turned out really pretty and really unique. So I definitely like her. I did unfortunately forget her scar on her eye, but I'll try to remember next year. So Tulip and Apollo came from another herd that actually disbanded after humans took several of their eldest members. These two foals managed to find their way to the Grand Teton herd and were happily taken in under Swift's leadership. The herd is in desperate need of numbers at this point. Apollo is charismatic and funny, and he's incredibly caring. He hardly knows most of the horses in the herd, but he has been helping Ophelia with trying to heal Sunny's wounds. He is insanely sweet and affectionate. I just love him. He is another horse that looks absolutely nothing like his sprite. I really didn't want to do another gray or another blue roan with a gray cat. I actually turned him into a flaxen liver chestnut. I thought that that was an interesting coat color, and so I went with it. Our next two horses are a pair of mares named Reyna and Sunflower. These girls met while out in the wilds. Reyna was heavily pregnant and struggling to survive on her own, and Sunflower had just dispersed from her birth herd. They haven't been friends for very long, but that doesn't matter. Their connection is deep and undeniable. Sunflower helped Reyna find a new herd, and the two settled in just in time for Reyna to give birth. The mare was absolutely massive, and the herd thought she might give birth to a bison. Reyna actually ended up giving birth to twins. The struggle of birth and nursing two foals was really, really hard. But Reyna is a formidable fighter, so she survived. She never gave up, and with Sunflower and the rest of the herd at her side, the two foals are happy and healthy today. Reyna's cat Sprite has a little mustache, and so I tried to give her just a little white snip. And she is actually a bay. She looks quite brown, but she's a bay. And Sunflower is a beautiful palomino, and she has nice long curly hair. Now, I have a question for you guys. My horses that I've been making have been quite realistic, and I'm wondering, what do you guys think about their eye colors? They're all brown or blue, but for instance, Sunflower's eyes in-game are purple. Should I go with that? Should I make her eyes purple? And like green, there are cats with green eyes, and all kinds of different colors. What do you guys think? Should we stick with the natural colors, or should we start going crazy? I want to keep natural coat colors, but maybe their eyes can be unique. A little nod to their Clangen counterparts. Now, Reyna's twins are Rain and Storm. These girls are actually a year old now, so I drew them a little too young, but I really wanted to see them as little babies. I like drawing sweet foals. Rain is a chestnut filly who is bloodthirsty and a good fighter. I'm not entirely sure how to interpret a bloodthirsty mare, but maybe she's just prone to fight instead of flight? I don't know. You guys will have to help me out with that one. Storm is only slightly better as a troublesome filly. She gets into all kinds of trouble with her sister and is often being chastised by the older horses. Actually, Eve really loves the little filly since she reminds her so much of when Rio was a baby. And you guys know Rio. She was Eve's first filly and unfortunately died. But Storm has come to take the wild mare place of Rio. There's always got to be one little filly in there that is just absolutely feral. Next we have Breeze, a black Sabino mare, and her 1-month-old colt named Ghost. Breeze was from a human encampment many miles away. She never wanted a foal, but was forced to have one. When she knew she had a foal in her belly, she found a way to escape the humans and ran as far and fast as she could. She is actually faster than Swift, who is the fastest horse the herd has come upon to date. I think she's a type of thoroughbred, bred for swift travel through the West. Her colt, Ghost, was bred for a more sturdy type of warhorse. His father was Appaloosa, so they were looking for a more flashy stallion for the colonel of the army. Ghost most certainly is flashy, so the breeding was successful, but Breeze will give up her son over her dead body. She never wanted a foal, but now that he's here, she's incredibly overprotective of him. Ghost will also need to keep an eye out as he grows, because if the humans catch a glimpse of him and his mother, they will know instantly who they are. And I don't imagine the people will be interested in letting such a beautiful little colt go free. Now, Ghost, I think, looks so similar to his little cat sprite, the little spotty black and white kitten. And I did some horse genetic research, used a generator, and as long as his father was an Appaloosa, we could get away with Breeze having an Appaloosa baby. Finally, we have Artax. Despite all his cockiness and spirit, he is feeling quite broken. Swift defeated him when he was already weakened. And this is just the way of the world, but Artax has a little bit of a grudge against the White Stallion for that. Before he could fight back and reclaim the herd, Takoda died. Artax was absolutely crushed and has been ever since. He truly loved the spotted mare and is barely himself now that she's gone. And that's all for the horse herd. We got a lot of new faces this year, and I just want to thank you guys for being so patient with me. Drawing all these horses can be quite time consuming, as well as all the other things that I usually do. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying this series and stick around to see it. I am excited to see what happens next year, if Artax rises up to fight Swift again, or if we just continue to prosper and have more foals. Only time will tell, but if you join me for my next video, I'll see you then.